this is a big reason why I rebranded to Planet CHH. My heart ached all the times I wanted to talk about Stallone and the Rambo series, and I felt like I couldn't. As you can see, I've collected this series for a long time and have a big passion for it. It's interesting when you look at how nice this box set is. It almost puts to shame a lot of the boutique label box sets that have come out. Lionsgate have killed it with this. I kind of wish I had gotten that Godzilla one, and I know they have a Jurassic Park 4K set coming out that I might get. So let's look at these Steelbooks, and then we're going to rank this series. I've never done this before, but I've got my list, and I'm very confident in it. I've got to say, all these Steelbooks look quite simply amazing. They just did an amazing job on this. Alright guys, so coming in at number 5 is Rambo, First Blood Part 2, which could come as a big surprise because I'm sure this is a fan favorite. I should say right off the bat that I love all these films, and I think it's probably one of the strongest franchises in all of movies, quite frankly. But why is it dead last? Well, I should say that Stallone gives an amazing performance, and this movie was marketed brilliantly. It was a smash success back in the day, and I can totally see why. I guess I just really wanted the Vietnam story to be over with First Blood. It was such a beautiful bookend on the truth of how our soldiers were treated and how things were when they came back. So I was just personally ready to move on from the Vietnam story. But despite that, this movie's an excellent action film, and there's no denying that. So even though it's dead last, I just gotta reiterate again, this is a marvelous franchise, and Rambo 2 is a great action film at the end of the day, with a great song by Frank Stallone at the end too. Coming in at number 4 is Rambo 3. That's right. Man, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of this one. This is what I wanted from the next movie. So Rambo 3 would see our star settling down in a Thai monastery near Bangkok. I always thought that Rambo would have fled the country after the end of the first movie and settled in a different place where he would feel more appreciated, which he was. Also, the opening to this movie is pretty rad. We see Rambo battling for money and bets, and he's a warrior over there, and it's just really cool. He seems larger than life, and I just always thought the opening of Rambo 3 was really freaking cool. Ultimately, I like the story of him having to save his friend Colonel Trotman. Even though his country never appreciated him, Colonel Trotman always did. So I thought it was great seeing Rambo risk it all again to go save his friend. I really like that line he delivers in the beginning where he says, "My war is over." I really like the new location of Afghanistan as well. It just feels like a new story and a new tale for Rambo. I think Rambo 3 ages like a fine wine personally, but I can understand how it's not everybody's cup of tea. Coming up at number 3 is going to be Rambo Last Blood. Every time people think Stallone is out for the count, he comes out with one of the most brutal, vicious movies there possibly can be. The best way to describe Last Blood is a modern-day Death Wish sequel. It's one of the most amazing vigilante movies I've ever seen, quite frankly. I'm a big proponent of letting cinema be cinema and exploring dark themes. And I applaud Stallone for going into a really dark territory of his niece getting drugged and killed by the cartel in Mexico. What happens in this movie after that is one of the most insane, almost Home Alone-esque type killing scenes ever, and Rambo is at his finest in this movie. Coming up next is 2008's Rambo at number 2. Where do I begin with 2008's Rambo or Rambo 4? Well, for starters, take everything I said about Rambo Last Blood and multiply it times 10. This movie pretty much puts 90% of horror movies today to shame with how intense and gory it is. Rambo 4 has some of the most amazing moments in action cinema I've ever seen. One thing I gotta give credit to as well as the supporting cast in this movie, they all nail it. The gore and intensity in Rambo 4 is unmatched to this day. This movie is gritty, dark, emotional, brooding, and literally one of a kind. Rambo 4 is a masterpiece. Now coming in at number 1 is one of my all-time favorite movies, at least in my top 10, First Blood. I also find this to be the best Stallone movie ever made. I think the urgency in all the action sequences because of the cat and mouse and just the truth about how our soldiers were treated make this movie just be on a different level than anything else. The way our soldiers were treated coming back from Vietnam is just sad and painful, and Stallone conveyed that so well through this movie. First Blood is without a doubt one of my favorite movies ever made, and just the pain in it and the truth is something that only Stallone could do so well. While Schwarzenegger has a little bit more layers and can be funny and all that, when it comes to being serious and just guttural, nobody does it like Stallone. And First Blood, in my opinion, is not only one of the best, but one of the most important action films ever made. So a big thumbs up to Lionsgate for putting out a gorgeous release like this for these Rambo films. I can't think of a better way to commemorate a series than doing it like this with these gorgeous steelbooks with beautiful artwork and a nice, almost bulletproof case. What an amazing series, man. I mean, the Rambo franchise is something I just adore. So I ask you, what is your favorite Rambo movie? Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and music, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.